Hello, this is Carlos Ray Reese, the continuous improvement guy. And this presentation is going to walk you through a high level overview of a proposal to deploy Kaizen to achieve finance and supply chain strategic process alignment in the SAP region. This presentation has six specific items: purpose and strategic link, the current state, challenges and lessons learned, the proposal, benefits, and next steps. Before I even start, I want to kick off this presentation with the idea that with man things look impossible, but with God all things are possible. Also, remembering that continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. So let's start with the purpose and strategic link. The global finance team started with a project to establish and ensure ongoing alignment by national offices and the global center to global standard principles and processes in the area of finance and supply chain. Also, on the other hand, supply chain is looking to achieve a highly important goal, which is to confirm and implement global standard integrated supply chain business processes to drive both process efficiency and effectiveness, good governance, and resource flexibility. So that's why the two groups are in looking for the same goals. And also, if we think about our Promise 2030, when it talks about the stewardship that results in a bias for action, a focus on impact, continuous improvement, and innovations toward future challenges, clear value for money, and ever high standards of efficiency. That's why doing this initiative, it makes sense for both groups. What is the current state? Well, the current state is that we recognize that there's different levels of understanding and adoption of global standard processes from different national offices or different teams. We don't have a standard approach to how to standardize those processes. We need an ongoing process to continue to improve on those standards. And also, we recognize that we need to support the national offices and the shared services to streamline and improve those processes. What are some of the challenges and lessons learned? Well, the challenges is each office is at different level of adoption. So we need a way towards continuous improvement that we can measure and monitor so we can measure the journey. And then the challenge is the idea of standardization when we have too much standardization, too little versus the right amount. What is the right amount? Is the standardization that allows best available methods, people are empowered and guided, group and individuals are learning, and methods are improved. Now, to do that, we are planning to use a metric called adherence level that's going to help us measure where we are in terms of the adoption of those global standards, and more important, what is our target? How much do we want to improve for each of the different national offices? So this is going to allow us to measure the journey and to concentrate on helping those groups or national offices to improve on an ongoing basis. Now, what is the proposal? The proposal is basically to use Kaizen, which means continuous improvement, to get there. Now, what is a Kaizen event? Well, it's usually a process improvement workshop supported by the leaders. It requires multifunctional and multi-level participation. It's important to have people from the field participating in this type of workshops. It's all about teamwork and collaboration. It helps to reduce the resistance to change. The goal is to increase value through the reduction of or elimination of waste. It's usually a 4 to 5 days workshop. And after the workshop, usually team needs to keep working until the action plan they developed during the workshop is fully implemented. Now, the scope of this project is basically based on our global standard processes. So the idea is to use Kaizen and to tackle some of the pain points of the national offices from these processes. It's important to recognize that it's really difficult to improve all at the same time, but at least during this workshop we can identify three sub processes from this menu of processes, and then to work on improving those specific sub processes in one workshop. Now, the idea of this proposal is to pilot this within the SAP region. The supply chain regional leader expressed the interest on doing this, and specifically we would like to do it in Sri Lanka, India, Philippines, and Indonesia. And we would like to follow the train the trainer approach, where we will basically host two Kaizen events. We are planning to host a Kaizen event in Philippines, and also a Kaizen event in India, and then to invite Sri Lanka and Indonesia to participate with the goal to learn from those experiences and then to go back to their countries and to replicate that. Of course, we will offer some virtual coaching to make sure they're ready and set up for success. But with this, we're going to leverage those two Kaizens that we're going to do, and we're going to make sure that we replicate those and we cover those 4 countries. It's going to require a lot of discipline and accountability to follow up until Kaizens are complete. And that's why we need the involvement of finance and regional leaders to support this initiative. We are planning also to do lessons learned so that we can replicate this model with other regions. So this will be a starting point. And so the goal is to execute 4 Kaizen events with the purpose of improving and aligning key finance and supply chain processes by December of 2017. And more important, to successfully close those 4 Kaizen events after 6 months of the execution of those Kaizens. The benefits. Well, one of the benefits is continually improving the efficiency through the removal of waste of the global standard processes, align the needs versus the efforts of finance and supply chain teams. We're going to pilot a standard approach to achieve global standards. This is a bottom-up approach versus you have to do it this way. This will open new opportunities to improve global standards, where all parties will be supporting a common goal. And we're also going to walk the talk in terms of the transformational model through the use of train-the-trainer approach to deploy this initiative. And we're also going to leave the partner strategy of global finance by building on the ideas of people to improve the processes. This is going to be based on the analysis of data. We're going to also make sure that we mitigate and calculate risks. We're going to use new Lean Six Sigma and Kaizen tools to improve our processes. We're going to remove waste to achieve efficiency. And we're going to use creativity before capital, which is one of the principles of Kaizen in terms of resources. What are some of the next steps that we propose? Well, one is to get the buy-in from global, regional, and national offices, key players, and that's why this video is going to help that purpose. We also need to define the Kaizen hosting date so that we have a specific date where we're going to begin to do this. And also we need to identify what are the dates of the other 2 countries that are going to replicate this Kaizen. And then we need to begin to work on the logistics. I hope this was a helpful presentation to give you an overview of this initiative or project. And of course, your inputs and feedback are welcome. Thank you.